Hello everyone. So this time I thought I'd do something a little different. So this is not specifically about my job as a epic teacher, but this is about my faith life. So I don't think I mentioned it. I don't think I've mentioned it at all. But I'm a Christian, and I'd say I'm a pretty firm believer, and I'm pretty active in my faith as well. And yeah, so because of that, this it's kind of a big part of my life. Like I would consider it like one of the most important thing. Almost actually, I think it is the most important thing in my life. It's one of the qualities I look for in like other people as well. Like I would really I like meeting friends who have the same faith, and eventually when I have a girlfriend, I would like her to be a Christian. I'm not. Uh, my opinion on that is I'll leave that for another video. But basically, I want to talk about my faith life in Korea. Um, yeah, so I think faith life is always hard. It's not an easy thing. It's a journey, and from the time you become a Christian, or even if you're a Christian since you were born, it's kind of like you still have to. There's still like a time in your life where you really start like committing to your faith, and that's when like the journey starts, and it's really hard, but it's not impossible, of course. And I've been experiencing a lot of ups and downs like throughout my whole faith life. So for me, I think I really started my journey when I was about 16 years old, and now I'm 22, and I've experienced so much in this time. Like it's been a really crazy journey. I've gone through so many like difficult trials, and I've overcome them, and I've grew so much, and I've learned a lot of stuff. So I think overall it's been an amazing journey, and it's nowhere near finished. But being in Korea is both a blessing and I wouldn't say a curse, but kind of hindrance, both a blessing and a hindrance to my faith life. So in Korea, yes, one of the biggest changes from my faith life in Australia and in Korea is like the way I live. So when I was in Australia, I lived like one block from my church, and I was living with two other people from my church. So I could go to church like several times a week, like maybe 3 or 4 times a week, and that was just for like church, like services and Bible training and all that kind of stuff. But then like if I could also go to church like really early in the morning to just join like prayer, not join prayer, like just pray like myself, personal prayer. And I loved praying in the morning. On this, I think it's really a Korean culture thing too. Like many Korean churches, they have like a service at like 5 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. My church doesn't do that. They just turn on the music really loud and turn off all the lights, and you can just pray by yourself. And it's a really good atmosphere for praying. But yeah, most other Korean churches they do like a 5:30 a.m. service Monday to Friday, which is insane, but it's really amazing. I think I'll do another video about Korean churches and how hardcore they are. But yes, I was living like a block from my church, so I could just walk there in a few minutes and be there. And so anytime I wanted, I could be there. And this neighborhood I lived in was a lot of people from my church lived there because it's quite a big church. So most of the members, not most, but a large portion of them lived in the same area. And I was living with two people from the church as well, so I was pretty surrounded and in a really good environment for my faith. I felt, But in Korea, my situation is crazy different. So my church has a branch church in Seoul. So I attend that church because it's my home church, so I feel really comfortable there. But to go there, it takes like around 2 hours usually. It's really far. Like from my city to Seoul is only like 1 hour, but I have to take a bus to the bus terminal. Then from the bus terminal I take the intercity bus, which takes about 1 hour or 1 hour and 10 minutes. It can be more or less depending on the traffic. And then once I'm in there, I have to take the subway from the bus terminal station in Seoul to my church's station, it can take 20 to 30 minutes. It really depends. And then I take a short walk from the station to my church. But then this is not including the waiting time. So sometimes I have to wait like 10 to 20 minutes for the bus in my city. And I usually have to wait for each bus, and I also have to wait for the subway, and it takes a really long time. So um, that in itself is really tiring. Traveling 2 hours back and forth to church every week is really insane. Like I really need to move to Seoul, so I'm planning to move to Seoul next year. So then this problem will be like largely reduced. But until now, it's been really difficult. I feel like it's really easy for me to get burnt out really quickly because I'm really physically tired and sometimes mentally tired too. But I'm pretty physically tired every time I go to church, and then also when I'm going back home, like I'm just so dead. And I feel like it's really hard to just stay at church for hours and hours because my church has a lot of stuff. So we have like the service, and then we have lunch, and then we have a cell meeting, and then we have like a kind of Bible training class. And I find it so hard to stay for all of that because I'm just so physically drained. Like I'm already drained when I arrive at church because of all the traveling, and then I sit and listen to the sermon for like an hour, and then we have lunch, and then we have a cell meeting, and then after that I'm just so done. But then I still have to travel all the way back. So usually I leave like right after cell meeting and just quickly try to get home as soon as I can because I'm just so dead. And I feel like by the time I get home, all the people who stayed at church like for an extra hour or two, they're probably gonna get home before I do, which is crazy since I'm leaving earlier. So that's one thing that makes it really hard. Another thing is I live completely alone. So there's like I don't have any like roommates or housemates or anything, and I don't really have that many friends in my city as well. So most of the time I don't meet friends in my city, and the friends in my city, they're not Christians as well. So I don't really have much of like a Christian environment around me, and it's not like I have to have that, but going from being surrounded by like people from my church and being near my church straight to this where I'm completely isolated from um, I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it, but I'm just really far from my church and I'm not like around really any Christians. It really makes my faith life really hard. I really feel like I'm doing it really alone. So that's been something I've been really struggling with for the last year and a half that I've been here. It's really been it's really just been going up and down a lot, and it's just been a huge struggle to constantly, have a time where I feel like I feel like my faith life is just going so well, and then there's times where I just feel like it's just going so badly and I can't continue, I can't do this. I struggle to pray and I struggle to read the Bible, and sometimes I just feel like I don't want to go to church. And it's not like I don't want to go to church at all. I just don't want to travel to the church. So I think like sometimes I need to take a break from the travel to my church and just attend a church nearby, which is yeah, it just feels all of the stuff is just it's just really tiring, I think. But at the same time, like I feel like I'm not doing as much as I could be. So I feel like what I need to do is I need to not put pressure on myself because this is no, this is not an easy way to be, having like a faith life. So I think I need to stop pressuring myself to do so much, and like do it, but not like beat myself up if I don't do it. As I tend to, like, if I don't do something, or if I can't do something well enough, I tend to just like beat myself up and keep judging myself, and I feel like that really brings my mood down, and it gives me less motivation to do something again. So I feel like I need to be more easy on myself, and really, um, yeah, really consider my situation more. Yeah, so what I do sometimes is, like, I don't do it very often, like really rarely. When I'm feeling really burnt out, I will maybe not attend my church for like that week, and then visit like a nearby church just for that week. I do stuff like that, but I feel like, especially recently, I've been really feeling like I need to have like other Christians around me, so that just during the week, like the weekdays, I could kind of just have um, kind of just meet up and just talk about like kind of spiritual stuff, and kind of I don't know the word, but like you kind of just share stuff you've been share stuff about your faith life, and worries you've been having, and praying together and stuff. Like, I want to have that throughout the week, because when I was in Australia, like, I think even when I was struggling, like, it wasn't that bad, because I will just, like, usually every night I'll sit in the living room with my housemates, and we'll just talk about everything, and especially our faith life. And I feel like that was really helpful for me. I feel like I took it for granted, because now that I live alone and I'm so far from my church, I feel like I'm really yeah, I really realized what I had, and I think I won't take that for granted again when I have it again. But yeah, for like, at the moment, I really feel like I'm struggling a lot. I really want to overcome this. It is like, it's better now than it was before. Like, I feel like my mindset has gotten a lot better, but I still feel like I need to improve in a lot of areas. But these days, I'm starting to I started to redo my Bible study, and try to start from like the beginning point. So I'm trying to start from the beginning of Matthew's. And yes, I want to start off with the New Testament, and then do the Old Testament, and I want to do it that way. But what I'm doing this time is I'm trying to study it in both English and Korean. So like, I have some of my notes from my Bible study like 2 nights ago. So I first did it in English, and then I did it in Korean. And the way I'm studying this is, I got this Korean and English Bible, bilingual Bible. But I also got this Korean Bible, and what it says is it's a easy Bible. So the language in here is a lot simpler, but it's completely in Korean. But what I do is I read the stuff in English first. I always start off with the English. I do my stuff in English first, and then I go to the Korean, and then do it in Korean. So then I can try to. I feel like if I read it in English, like I should be able to work out like all the words I don't know. I should be able to work out what they are, what they are. And yeah, so this easy Bible makes the Korean a lot easier to understand. Yeah, so I'm really hoping that I can get to a point where so I really have two goals with doing it in two languages. Like, I have two goals with that at the moment. My first goal is I want to be able to like translate. So I want to, because in my church it's mostly done in Korean, but there's a lot of foreigners, and sometimes they ask me to like help out with translation sometimes, because there's like another translator available, and my Korean level is kind of like decent, but my Korean level is really for conversation, not for this kind of stuff. So I really want to learn a lot more about this stuff in Korean, so that I can translate in the future like a lot better. And my other goal is I want to be able to understand like Korean sermons, and like a lot more Korean stuff, so that I actually have the choice of attending a Korean church. Because yeah, my city doesn't have any English churches. I really wish it did. Then it will make my life so much easier. But yeah, the way it is now is like there's churches like everywhere in Korea. Like I have a church across the road from my building, and then like a block away there's another church, and then there's like a few more in the other direction. Like I got so many churches around me, but I really don't feel like my Korean is at a level where I could really understand what they're talking about. Like I could probably understand like I'd say like 20%. 15 to 20% is what I'd guess. But that's really not enough. I want to be able to understand like at least 50%. Then I could fill in all the blanks with like all the main information, I guess. Um yeah, because the language used in this stuff is really hard. Yeah, and I also feel like it's really hard to just go into a new church, especially like a church in another language, just by myself. Like it makes me feel so nervous. So yeah, it's really hard. I'm really thinking what to do these days. Like I really want to make like more Christian friends, and I want to attend stuff. Like I just want to be around Christians more often, and but at the moment, like I don't know how or what I can do. I'm just doing what I can on my own, but doing it by myself is just it's so hard. And the Bible talks a lot about how you're not meant to do it alone, and I don't want to be doing it alone. It's just not easy to do it alone. So I'm going to keep praying about this, and I've asked my church to pray for me as well. And I really want to try and try to find a way around this. Hopefully, I can meet more Christians around me. But yeah, I'll just keep praying about this. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you actually watched up until now, thank you so much. So yeah, I'll see you again in the next video. So bye bye.